I'm just jamming and just singing. I used to chew tobacco. And I'm singing my country music and I'm driving. And Yoko looks at me. Yoko looks at the cassette deck back there. Yoko looks at me, puts his window down, he checks the tape, throws it out the window, and looks at me and says, "Hey, motherfucker, anybody ever tell you you black?"
Hey everyone, welcome to the 55 Live podcast in conjunction with the WZWA Network. My name is Mr. 55 Jack Wallace. I'm joined here with Aston Crude and a very, very special guest, WWE Hall of Famer, the Godfather, otherwise known as Papa Shango.
What's up, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
First of all, what part of the world? I'm in Las Vegas. Where are you guys at?
Perth, Australia. So we're a very, very, very long way away from you, man.
You're early in the morning, aren't you?
11 a.m. right now, 11:06. Yep.
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning. Wow, what a difference, man.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts, isn't it? Like, I think we're still a day ahead of you as well. So just know the world doesn't end on the 19th of May.
You guys are just starting smoking. I've been smoking all day.
I mean, I'll admit I had one before I jumped in the call. So I'm in a good vibe. But I also wanted to say happy birthday for the other day, bro.
Thank you. Did
you get up to much to celebrate it? Have a good day?
No, everything's kind of closed down out here in Vegas still. The casinos are closed, and they're just slowly starting to open up stuff. So I didn't do much. We just hung around, me, my wife, my son, and the dogs. We just kind of hung out. We went up to the mountains for a minute and played a little disc golf. Believe it or not, I played disc golf. And we took the dogs up to the mountains to a friend of mine's place and kind of kicked it there during the day and just kind of chilled all day, man. Didn't do too much.
Awesome, man. So, like, of course, it's an absolute crazy world out there right now with the sort of pandemic and everything going on.
Yeah.
How are you staying safe with that during the pandemic? And has life and business really changed during this time drastically?
Oh, man, I was at the club. The clubs are closed, so I'm just staying at home, relaxing, kind of chilling. Actually, I'm enjoying myself. I'm getting my Instagram up, and we got to talk about my Instagram. But I've got that up. I got verified, and I'm doing a lot of videos, mostly smoking videos, believe it or not. And I'm having a lot of fun, man. Just chilling at home, and I'm not too far from being retired anyway. So I'm kind of getting a little feel of it, I guess, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm really enjoying it. I'm staying at home a lot. I really enjoy guns. I know guns are not a big thing where you are, but here they are. And I've got a lot of them, and I enjoy shooting them. And I go out to the mountains. I belong to a gun range. I go there, or a gun club, excuse me, and just chilling, man. I smoke a lot. I smoke probably too much. But just hanging out with my family, man, and chilling, and my dogs.
Awesome, man. That's really good to hear. Like, a lot of people seem to have very different perspectives and stance on it, but I think it's given a lot of people the opportunity to stay home with their families for a change, especially people that are very, very busy and don't get to stay home, man. So
Right.
A lot of people,
especially if you like me, I like my family, so it's nice to meet.
So, of course, that was going to be my next question. If you had been able to tend to more hobbies, family time, little projects around the house with all the extra free time you've had. I mean, you just answered that question for me. So, of course,
there are a few mountains out here. We like to go up to the mountains, go on little hikes. The weather's pretty warm. I don't know what it is there. I think you guys are in Celsius, but in degrees, we're probably around 80 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's nice weather, and we go up to the mountains a lot. I only go to the store when I have to. The gyms and everything are closed, so I work out a lot at home, and I get my cannabis from a good friend of mine. And now when I go to his house, he leaves it underneath the porch mat, and then I leave the money under the mat and take it. So it's all good, man. I'm sure you can tell by my face, man. I'm just enjoying life.
Yeah, dude. I've watched a couple of recent interviews of you. I think there was one from a couple of years ago. You just seemed like a really happy dude, man, and that was really awesome to see. As I said before, a lot of guys like come from the business, especially from around your area. A lot of them just don't seem to be happy, and they.
Give me 1 second. Give
No
me
worries.
1 second. Let somebody can help me. this light is just my eyes, man. Are just
No worries.
somebody hand me my glasses. I do this better. I might get a little reflection in my eyes. I'm sorry, but I got these lights on me. How bad is that? Is that too bad?
No, that's
That's
good, man.
cool.
I can see the light
All
you're
right,
using.
now
I know what you
I'm
mean.
more chill. My beautiful wife's over here. I wish I could go get her to give me a bong hit or
Yeah.
load me up a bong hit and bring me a lighter.
Awesome. Hey,
But just, I'm sorry. What helps? Like I said, man, I really love my wife, and I'm really happy, and it really helps to, if you have a happy life at home, which I do. So I like hanging out with them.
that's awesome, man. If you really enjoy hanging out with family, it must be so much better, especially like if you can be with them for so long and still after all that time later, it still feels like, day one.
You look like you don't believe me and shit. You're like, Godfather, give me that line of bullshit. I'm like, nah,
Hey,
dude.
I'm 22. I'm single. It could be. I haven't
You got a
found
girl?
it yet.
You don't have a girlfriend?
Nah.
You want one?
Not yet.
Man, I got hoes in Australia, man. I'm telling you, I got them everywhere. That nationwide shit's true, man. Nationwide.
Hey, bro. Well, after the podcast, I'm sure you could get me a ticket on the Ho train.
Shit, that or the smoke train, one of the two.
I'll do both.
Yeah.
I only very recently found out you actually used to be a bouncer. So I wanted to actually talk about that. And how long was it before you were a professional wrestler that you became, you were bouncing for?
I moved to Vegas in 83, 84. And there was a job waiting for me here as a bouncer. And then I was a bouncer for maybe, a very, very, very short time. Thank you. A very short time. And I became a manager and a bartender. And I really was never, besides that little part of my life, I was never a bouncing. Did I bounce people as a manager? Yes. Did I bounce people as a bartender? But I was never like a doorman, carja type of dude. I was always in management. But if any shit went down, I handled it. But there was a lot of tough guys back then, man. But yeah, I didn't end up bouncing in my life.
That would have been very valuable experience for you, especially sort of going into what you're doing now. Sort of going from the bouncer, and from a story I heard, you actually went into wrestling from bouncing. Is that correct? So,
Yes.
Yep. So you sort of had pro wrestlers see you and said, "Hey, give us a go." So of course,
They were filming a movie called Over the Top with Arnold Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
Arm wrestling movie. You remember that?
Yeah.
Called Over the Top. Well, those guys, it was filmed right down the street from the topless club that I worked in. It was called Crazy Horse. And those guys, Scott Norton was in it. A lot of wrestlers were in that movie as extras. And I was just big tattooed. Back then, there was no black people tattooed. And I was all tattooed up and bigger than I was really big. And they're like, dude, you should become a wrestler. And I'm kind of like, man, I don't want to do that phony ass shit. And I was like a biker, dude. I mean, I'm serious. I was like Scott Hall always says, I'm more like a cowboy biker than, that's probably closer to me. And so, I made a call to the Monster Factory in New Jersey where they trained Bam Bam Bigelow, and I thought anybody that would have tattoos, I'd go, gotta be a cool dude. Made a call, sent a picture, 8 months later, I'm wrestling Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis, Tennessee on a Monday night, man. Literally, it went that fast. It went, once I went to wrestling school, things moved fast, real fast.
It was a different time back then as well, wasn't it? So it would have been much harder to break in, but I'm assuming just because of your size, your look.
Easier to break in back then.
Oh,
much
really?
easier to break in. There was more territories.
That's true.
They had Smoke Mountain, they had Mid-South, they had USWA, they had the Carolinas, they had Windy City and Detroit. There were so many territories back then that there was a lot of places to go work. Now they don't have those territories. But, we all broke in Memphis for that territory. I mean, anybody that is anybody in wrestling went through Memphis. From The Rock to Hogan to anybody. Everybody went through Memphis against Jerry Lawler.
Doing all the territory stuff. And then also, of course, the amazing WWE run you had that ended up with you in the Hall of Fame. Shango, Godfather, Goodfather, all the way to the Hall of Famer. and now you're actually doing a gentleman's club venture in Vegas, man. So let's get into a bit about.
Well, I was part owner of a club called Cheetahs. D'Lo Brown worked for me for like 2 or 3 years.
Awesome.
And we sold it over a year ago, so I'm out of the game now. Sometimes I was before this virus came out. I was doing a little VIP hosting at a club called the Rhino, where VIPs would actually be hosted by the Godfather, basically. And I would set you up with the girls and get you all in the rooms. And it was a pretty cool deal, but I don't know if I'm gonna be going back to that or not. But other than that, man, just chilling, enjoying life.
I am incredibly interested in your thoughts on running a gentleman's club and how you first started managing Cheetah's Gentlemen's Club. And I guess, how did you stay competitive in such a competitive market like Las Vegas running a gentleman's club?
You know, back then, you know, now you're talking about going back to 83, 84. And probably 84, 85 is when I start managing clubs. Mind you, now there's 28, 32 topless oriented or nude oriented clubs in Vegas. Back then there was only 2 or 3.
Right.
There was the Crazy Horse One, Crazy Horse Saloon. I think there was Larry's Villa. And, I mean, there was only 3 or 4. And then we opened up Cheetahs. And Cheetahs opened up, I think, in late 80s. But it was, you know, it was a different game back then, man. You know, it's just a different game. People were different. Music was different. Girls were different. Laws were different. You know, they're a lot more lax now than they were back then. But, you know, you didn't have social media back then like you have now. So with advertising was done on the radio, you know, or word of mouth, or go to conventions and hand out things, or, you know, actually go to the clubs and hand out things. But there was no social media. So, you know, none of that was happening. Just you worked hard, man. You know, the clientele was different too back then. Back then it was more of a biker clientele. It was still, back in the early 80s, it was more underground. You know, now it's kind of cliche, you know, the happening thing. And it's kind of died down from the new, you know, millennial people. But it was the hot spot for a while. It was a hot spot.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I can also imagine that you probably have a few funny stories from over the years from dealing with badly behaved patrons in your establishments. Do you have any stories that you can tell us here today?
Yeah, you got into back then. You fought every day. I mean, literally, you fought every day. And one time there was a guy in Vegas here called One Kick Nick. He's a legend in the States for being a kickboxer and actually knocking people out with one kick. And that's, you know, hence where he got the name. Well, he was the head of security and I was the manager. And back then, like I said, you fought a lot. And the police, nowadays, the police try to encourage the people to sue you. You know, back then the police were on your side. And so we got into a little beef with a guy. I had to take him out. So boom, boom, boom. I get into this guy with the black guy and he called me the wrong thing. And I basically said, I'm not your brother. And we got into it. I knocked this dude out, take him out and stuff. And we take him outside. Thus, we used to throw him in the garbage can back then. We'd take him out back, throw him in the garbage can, call the police. The police would come and arrest him. So we do all this to this dude, right? Boom, bang, boom. And so it's all over and stuff. And I'm like, hell, you had a really nice watch. I'm like, where's my watch? Where's my watch? I'm like, Nick, where's my watch? The Nick goes, oh, hell, that was your watch? He goes, dude, I thought it was the dude you beat up, his watch, so I put it on him. I beat the dude's ass up, the dude got my watch, and it was a nice watch, too. But yeah.
Brilliant.
I don't know if that's a good story or not.
That's awesome.
It's exactly what I was hoping for.
But yeah, man, back then you fought a lot. It's not like today. The kids today don't fight, man. Back then, you know, now they want to sue you and film you and all that type of stuff. Back then it was just, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of fighting. I mean, I smile now because I don't do that anymore. Man, a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting.
Jeez, if it were me, I'd be so stressed out every morning leaving my house, knowing that it's inevitable I'm going to be getting to a fight today with someone I don't know.
We look forward. I mean, it was like wrestling, man. After a while, it's just what you do, man. It's just like, people were like, hey, what are we going to get in tonight? What type of crazy shit's going to happen tonight? It was more like that. Just waiting for it.
He said,
And then you'd handle it real quick, you know?
you said D'Lo Brown worked with you back in the day as well.
When he left TNA, I think he was after that. He worked at Cheetahs for 2-3 years for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you
He was
ever?
he was like a floor supervisor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He would come in and he'd do his thing.
the head.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into Disco Inferno? Because I know he's worked in some gentlemen's clubs in Vegas.
He worked at a club called Sapphires, and he still works there.
Yeah.
I run into him at the Rhino every now and then. He'll come in. When I was there, he'd come in. He had a lot of friends there. I think he still wrestles out here for FSW and some stuff. But
yeah,
if I run into him, I run into him at the Rhino.
Cool. Jack, what you got next, bro?
I wanted to ask was sort of being involved in the Gentlemen's Club. Was this always a part of sort of the post wrestling plan? I know you mentioned that you were still doing sort of it in '83 before the wrestling stuff. Was it always sort of part of the plan? Like, did you always sort of want to go back to what you were doing before wrestling when you were finished with wrestling?
No. I wanted to go another route, but things happened and it didn't work out. We were going after the cannabis industry, and it just, man, it was getting so expensive. It cost me a lot of money. It wasn't going anywhere. So I'm kind of like, man, I got to go back to doing what I know best, dealing with them hoes.
Yeah,
and so we jumped back into it, and and we were at Cheetahs for like 10 years, and I was the general manager there. We had little stake. It is what it is. But yeah, I was there from 2003 till what? 2017.
Oh wow, it's a long stint.
Yeah.
And of course, there would have been a lot of people that would have been coming in there specifically just for you, and I guess that would have helped your club stand out as well in some way, more ways than less. When you were sort of trying to sort of stay relevant in Vegas, was there a lot of people that were sort of coming in, really just wanting to talk to you and not even see the girls or anything?
Most wrestling fans, God bless them, and I love wrestling fans, but most of them aren't rich. And the clubs that I work at are pretty, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
They're pretty high dollar clubs. So most wrestling fans that come through there, they just come to see me. Now I have some wrestling fans that that are lawyers and doctors that come here to spend money. But for the most part, most of them come there just to take a picture with me or talk a little bit, but most of them come there to see me. As long as they buy a drink, they're all right.
Yeah. As long as they're still spending money at the door, they're spending money at your bar.
Yeah, my wife says I have no problem talking about myself.
I wanted to start moving over to your wrestling career now. There's plenty of things that you did accomplish, so we don't want to go into too many things that you've already spoken about to God knows how many other people.
When you have the Monday Night Wars and you have all these iconic characters that were on Monday Night Raw every single week, and then the invasion angle comes along, and all of a sudden those characters that really helped beat WCW, like the Godfather, Val Venus, Al Snow, Goldust, a whole bunch of them, they weren't really a part of such an important storyline. And we were wondering, what was going on with you during that time and why such an iconic character from Monday Night Raw wouldn't be in there battling WCW on television.
Didn't even look at it like that, man. See, the thing is, to me, it was a job. It wasn't my real life. It was a job. So I was hired to do a job. I did that job. They paid me very well to do that job. I used to tell people there could only be so many Stone Cold, Rocks, and Undertakers, and Shawn Michaels, and there could only be so many. So there's a lot of talent that goes through. I mean, it is what it is. It's a business. We can't forget it's a business. You can't utilize every talent that you have. You've got it. There's too many storylines. There's too much time you have to invest in people. You just can't. So there's a lot of talent that goes waste by the side. It's just how it is. But to me, it's a business. They took care of me. They paid me really well. I'm under a merchandise contract with them. They still put out merchandise and take care of me. It is what it is, but it was a business. It was not my life. wrestling was almost my second job, not my first. I always had the clubs, and the clubs made a lot of money in the clubs, man. And clubs paid a lot and bought a lot of stuff. So I always had the clubs. So wrestling for me was kind of a way out to just go have fun and enjoy myself. I never took it to the point where I was going to become the most technical wrestler in the world. I went out there, especially after Papa Shango, I just started having fun. I'm like, you know what? In the spot that you're in to make the most money that you can make, I'm going to entertain the people, man. I'm just going to entertain them. That's when we came up with, my wife came up with the Godfather, not me. She came up with it. And it was the best thing in the world that ever happened for me. Because then it just got to be me. I wasn't a voodoo man. I wasn't the Ultimate Fighter. I wasn't, I was just the Godfather, just Charles Wright, being Charles Wright. And I am so much like the Godfather, as you can see now. That's just how I am now at this stage of my life. Earlier in life, I wasn't so nice of a guy. But, as I've gotten older, man, it's just, I'm a lot more chill. And I enjoy things a lot more.
Cool.
That's awesome, man. It definitely feels like you literally quite live the Godfather gimmick, and it might not even be a gimmick at that point anymore, is it?
Still do, bro. Still do.
We obviously, you were in a backstage crew way back in the day. We wouldn't even call it a crew. Let's just call it a brotherhood. The Bone Street crew, BSK. It would have been you, all your closest friends in the business. This includes guys like Taker, Rikishi, Yokozuna, the likes. What are some of your fondest BSK memories from traveling on the road, show to show, back in the 90s?
It's not the memories, man. We hung out every day. That's what the whole part of BSK. BSK stood for Bone Street Crew, because TVs, man, you would go to TV, get there 1 in the afternoon. You might be there till 11 o'clock at night and have one match at 10:30.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of time on your hands. So Yoko was the one that started the BSK, and we were all guys that just rode together. We listened to the same music. We rode together. We went to clubs together. We went to bars together. We fought together. And Yoko just started. People think it was Undertaker, but it was Yoko. And Yoko used to say, BSK, let's go. BSK, time to play. And we would all play dominoes, and that's where that came from. We were just buddies, man. And we guys that hung out at night. We stayed in the hotels. We've been at the same cars. That was our crew. It was a tough crew, but that was our crew. We weren't up against, it had nothing to do with the clique or any of that stuff. It was our crew, BSK.
That's why it feels like to me. It was way more of a brotherhood than a clique or a crew or, anything sort of.
Still.
Sort of like
I talked to Taker. I talked to Rikishi, mostly on Instagram now, but
yeah.
I talked to Rikishi. I talked to Taker. No, I talked to Van Dam wasn't in the BSK. A lot of Yoko's not around anymore. Savio Vega's in Puerto Rico. He likes my stuff. The Godwins, they're doing their thing.
No, well, I know WWE have this thing that they have on the network called Table of Three, where 3 people get together for dinner and such. I think a great episode would be yourself, Rikishi, and Taker eating a bit of dinner, having a drink, and playing dominoes. I think that would be a good episode of Table for Three.
At this I'm not for sure, but at this last WrestleMania, I know it was canceled, but they were paying me to do like 5 or 6 vignettes, and it was all about BSK.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far that went into it, but I've done a lot of stuff. The Tables for Threes, I've done a couple of those, and I've talked a lot. I don't know. I hear Taker just had some type of documentary that just came out.
Yeah.
And am I on? Have you seen it?
Yep, I've seen. There's two parts out so far. I think the first one was covering. Was it the WrestleMania 33 match with Roman, or the sort of the lead up to it, the tail end, and then the recent one, sort of his redemption from that, because he apparently absolutely hated that match, was disgusted in his performance. Then really come back and show everyone the dead man still got it a year later. So there's only those 2 episodes so far. And I think
how many episodes are there?
I think it's 4, isn't it?
4, 5.
I know, like a year or so ago, at the club, they came down to the club maybe a couple years ago, And they did it. They told me they were doing a documentary on him, and I did a lot of talking about him. So
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I've showed yet, but I've got to show somewhere because I talked 2 hours about BSK and being on the road. I met Taker like in '88.
Oh, wow.
Became good friends then. And so we talked about that, BSK, and our relationship today. So I was wondering if any of that's shown yet.
Well, I've been watching it every week when they come out, and so has Carl. So I'm sure whenever we see it, I'll send you a photo or a video.
Please do.
And I'll
somebody will let me know. Somebody will say, "Oh man, Taker just said you know." Anytime Taker says anything about me, or it comes back to me right away.
Yeah, I think that would be the funny part. The funniest part about wrestling fans is news hits them quicker than it hits you. By the sounds of things.
That's so true. You know, about like the kid that came up missing, man.
Yeah.
The WWA, what's his name?
Shad.
Yeah,
Shad.
man. That's sad. But I woke up this morning and it was all, I didn't hear about it until I got on Facebook and stuff. And it was fans telling me about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's sad. We're not going to get into that. But that's real sad.
No, it is. It's horrible, man. 2020 has been such a shitty year, man. With the pandemic and everything's going on, like the world's sort of just been flipped upside down, and I don't think it's really been the best year for really anyone. But hey, what else can you do? Everything happens for a reason. It is what it is.
Right.
So continuing from just before the BSK stories, memories. What are your favorites, like sort of Yokozuna memories or moments with that guy? I know I've heard he's very, very tough back in the day. Has a history of keeping people in line and making sure that.
I'll tell you something. What most people don't know about Yoko is hell of a basketball player.
Really?
And there was a video on Instagram that Rikishi had posted. And he could play. He was so big you couldn't guard him because his ass was so big you couldn't get close to him. And he'd set you up, back you in, hit this little hook shot. Okay, I'll tell you where I'm at. You could stop it. But he's a hell of a basketball player, man. Yoke can play some ball. And he can shoot. People have no idea. He can play basketball.
No idea.
And even as big as he was.
Absolutely
I spent a lot of time with him. He one time like I said, I'm into country music. I listen to all type of music, but mostly if I'm in my truck, I listen to country music. And I'm driving down the road, and don't hold me to this. I'm driving. Yoko's to my right. We're in a big Lincoln Continental. Yoko's to my right. Taker's behind me, and I'm not sure. It's either Paul Bearer or Macho Man's behind Yoko. I'm not sure. One of those two. And so we're driving down the road, and I've got Hank Williams Jr. on, right? And I'm just jamming and just singing. And I used to chew tobacco. And I'm singing my country music, and I'm driving. And Yoko looks at me. Yoko looks at the cassette deck back there. Yoko looks at me. Puts his window down. He checks the tape, throws it out the window, and looks at me and says, "Hey, motherfucker, anybody ever tell you black?" Yeah, that's a true story, man.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because Yoko was a rapper, man. He was like just total rapper. People have no idea. Yoko could rap. He put a mic and he just get the beat. He grew up beatboxing and dancing in San Francisco for money, man. People don't know that.
Wow.
But he was a rapper. He could really, like, booyah track type of rap. He could really rap.
That's amazing. I had absolutely no idea. I couldn't even picture.
So he didn't understand that country music side.
I'm trying to picture him just playing basketball, man. I had no. I
would
have never even.
Are you guys on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, first of all, everybody better start following me. I don't know how many followers you have, but I hope it's a lot. But you better start following me. I am the Godfather on Instagram, verified. I've only been on for a few months, kind of active, but a lot of cool things have been happening, man. And my followers are going up quick, but I could use a lot more. So, you guys follow the Godfather, see some cool stuff.
Absolutely.
I'll post that next to you.
Please. But hey, Rikishi, if you follow him, he posted a video of somebody and Yoko playing basketball. That's why I brought that up. It was only like a week ago, and it's on Instagram, on Rikishi's Instagram, his official Instagram. And Yoko's playing basketball. You'll see him backing the dude up, hitting a jump shot. And I'm telling you, Yoko can play. Please take the time and look that up.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch that after this. I'll even try to find it and put it into the final video so everyone can find it, and then also go follow Rikishi for.
You guys don't mind if I take a hit?
Go
Absolutely
for it.
not. Go for it.
You don't mind if I take a bong hit?
Go for
I
it.
mind you, I am a cougher. It's not bad to cough. I know people say you got to cough, you get off. I got a little bong here. It's got a little bit of flour in there. I think you can see that. Actually, there's a whole lot of flour in there. So, hey, cheers.
Cheers. God, why do I need to live with my dad, eh? So painful.
Right?
That was me an hour ago.
Now I feel better.
I've been there.
Hey, man. Bro, seriously, cannabis, I'm going to take these off. I'm talking about cannabis, I'm going to be serious. Yeah, it was too bright before. 27 years old. I'm Papa Shango. Going, who should I look at? Should I look here, you, there? Who should I look? Where should I look?
Yeah.
Wherever you want.
You can
All
just
right,
start
anyway,
going for-
Papa Shango, 27 years old, going through a divorce. Undertaker's filming a movie called Suburban Commando. And I'm sitting in all these like big dog. Taker calls me big dog. He's like, big dog, come on to LA, chill with me. I'm filming this movie. Get your mind right. Now, mind you, I'm 27 years old. I've maybe smoked marijuana 3-4 times in my life because I'm older, man. I'm 59 years old now. And when I grew up, it was people used to scare you. Only hippies smoke marijuana. If you smoke marijuana, you're going to lose your mind. So I grew up during that period. So I didn't. But when I went to college, all the really good athletes smoked weed, and I didn't understand that. But I still did. I drank. I didn't smoke weed. So moved to Undertaker. So he's filming this movie, and I meet this guy who's driving one of the guys in the. I'm not gonna say names, but he's driving one of the main guys in the movie around, and he just happens to be his marijuana dealer. And so I got to be good friends with this guy, and he got me to try it. And when I tried it, and he had really good marijuana because he sold to all the celebrities in LA. And when I tried it, I just felt better. And my back didn't hurt anymore. And this didn't hurt. I went to the gym and my workout was better. And food tasted better. And then as time went on, now mind you, at this time, I'm taking Somas, Vicodins, Percocets, Percodans, Halcyon. I wouldn't know cocaine, nothing like that. Drinking a big old fucking liter of Jack Daniels a day with Taker. And that's how I was living. Well, now, a year or so after when I tried marijuana for the first time, I'm doing none of that. And to this day, I'll take a lead, take some Tylenol. I'll take no pain pills whatsoever. None, no matter how I feel. If I don't feel good, I'll smoke some cannabis and it'll make me feel better. And at my age, and if you look at me and you look at some of the guys that are my age, I mean, there's a big difference. That's because those guys are still taking the pills. Those guys are still drinking. They're still doing the autograph signings and hanging out with all the fans and them buying them drinks and messing with the rats. And I get high, go in my room, play some Tiger Woods call, And so that's what it is, man. It's kind of saved my life. And I think that's why I'm doing better at my age right now. And I don't look too bad for my age, But I put it on cannabis.
See,
that's awesome.
So kind of a conclusion you got from your experience with that is that you actually feel like cannabis has actually helped you with age.
Yes, yes. Cannabis got me off of a lot of pain pills, man. And all these guys that have died and over these years, man, from Eddie Guerrero, man. I used to try to get Eddie Guerrero to smoke weed. He wouldn't do it. And I'd be like, Eddie, I can't tell you how many times that me and Taker would come in and see Eddie not doing too well at the bar and put him over our shoulders and take him to his bed and put him in his room. And the next day we're getting up and Eddie's in the gym working out. You're like, motherfucker, I just put you in the bed 3 hours ago. But I used to try to get him to smoke weed, man, and he wouldn't do it. He goes, oh, it makes me eat too much. And just a lot of these guys that have died from things, I used to try to get them to smoke. And back then, man, I don't know about now, and the wellness program's a lot more strict now. But back then, not a lot of guys smoked weed. They really didn't. Me and a handful of guys smoked, and none of them smoked like me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I learned it a long time ago that it helped me and it works for me. So it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me, and I smoke it a lot.
That's right, man. It does not work for everyone.
This is juice too. This is actually just apple juice.
Apple juice on the rocks.
Apple juice from the rocks with a little American honey.
So,
did you guys watch the Brawl for All?
Oh, that's
yeah,
something we did want to talk to you about.
I don't believe you didn't ask me about that.
Hey, we'll actually get into that. We're getting there.
See?
But hey, we may as well get to it now. With the Brawl for All. So, of course, you showed up on the Dark Side of the Ring episode. You know, you did a bit of talking about it. You know, about your experiences, your thoughts on it, and everything. Sort of, what was your thoughts on the episode? Like, have you watched any of the Dark Side of the Ring episodes back yet?
I watched it a week before anybody's seen it, because you were going to talk about it on the after show. So I got to see it. It was a good version of what happened. I mean, it was a true story. I mean, I didn't know about all that backdoor, what was his name? Joe, what's his name? Russo. He's not one of them. I'll just say Russo. Vince Russo. Is that Vince Russo? He didn't write for me, I think, in the you couldn't see because they didn't have me on camera, but I was making all type of faces when he was on. Because one time, and don't hold this, I would say this is 99.9% true, but one time when he was asked, why do you write for The Godfather? He said, I don't write for bit Carters.
Jeez. Right.
Now on the show, on the after show, you hear me bring up, hey, did you ever write for me? And he's like, oh, well, nobody knew how to write for you because nobody was hip to it. Yeah. So people don't know that when I was doing, I know we're going off the subject of the Brawl for All, but when I was doing The Godfather, I was not scripted whatsoever at all. Nothing. They didn't even ask me what I would say at all. Nothing. If they had like if I was doing interviews and they wanted me to hit a town, a SummerSlam or something, I would add that into my speech. But nowadays, everything is scripted, completely scripted, word for word. And nobody, this is what they would tell me. Hey, I need you to be really good tonight. That would Vince would say, haha, hey, Charles, I need you to be really, really good tonight. That's what he would say to me. And I'd be like, you got it, Vince. I was not scripted at all. Isn't that wild? At all. I had freedom to say whatever I wanted to say during the Attitude. I could say whatever I want. And then there's I don't know if you guys know who Be Real is with Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah, I think Undertaker told a story one time about out drinking him. But I was good friends with him at one point. And he used to say, how are you getting away with saying what you're saying on TV? And I used to say, bro, I don't think people ought to really know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, it was. But back to the Brawl for All. What was your questions about that?
Well, I was just obviously we got your thoughts on the Dark Side of the Ring episode when it aired.
I thought it was good.
I think you may have already answered the question that Carl had.
It was about, I guess, and I wanted to actually go back to what you were saying about Vince Russo before, about him saying he doesn't write for mid-carders. From everything that I've watched of him, when he talks about his days writing in the WWF, he actually prided himself on ensuring that everyone had a direction storyline-wise, no matter if it was Austin or if it was anyone else lower on the card. I think he was prided himself on ensuring everyone had something to do on the show, and he also prided himself on the fact that people have the freedom to go out there and use their voice and say what they want to say on the microphone and not script things too heavily unless someone really needed help. But
well, I guess I didn't need any help then.
Definitely not. I can totally tell you just being yourself out there.
But you know what? It probably wouldn't have worked if they would have scripted me because literally, bro, you know what was cool about The Godfather is if I was working against you, we knew the finish. You knew what the finish was,
Yeah.
but you knew nothing else. You knew nothing else. I'd be like, see you out there, man. And that's all it would be, because you'd only have so much time. You'd have anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. And you would know how long my match was going to be by how many girls I came out with, because you had to bring them to the ring. You had to get them in the ring. You had to do your whole pimpin' ain't easy thing. You had to get them out of the ring. And you had, oh, dude, you're 3.5, 4 minutes in already. And now you've got 3 minutes to have a match and get the girls back in the ring.
Yeah. You know what?
So
I want to ask.
Okay, so no, hang on. So how much talking do we really need to do? And so what was cool about The Godfather, especially at the time when I was offering you the girls, I would kick your ass anyway, so you might as well just, come on, man, listen to these people, have a good time. Take these hoes, fuck this wrestling. Take these hoes and have a good time, right? And
there's one thing that I always seem to notice when I watch it back. It always seems like referee Tim White is why was it always him that was ended up in a pile of women?
I fucked that up so bad, bro. I fucked that up so bad. Tim White was my referee. You know what an honor it is? You know who else's referee was Tim White? Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
That was Timmy's last guy that he worked exclusively with. And then he would work with me exclusively. He did all my matches. We had it down where I'd take the cigar and throw it in the air, and he would catch it, put it away. And at the end, the girls would dance with him, and we had it down. And then my stupid high ass fucked it up. We're somewhere in either South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, one of them fucking towns, right? And back then they'd run 2 shows, and not really an A and B team, but 2 shows. I mean, really, literally, they would run Reno and Vegas at the same time. You know, they'd run, and so we were in. It was Macon, Georgia, and something else, Georgia. I remember it now. And then I remember asking. How did it go, man? I asked somebody some question because I was probably out partying, all high shit. And someday I'm like, well, where's Timmy at? Somebody said he's here. I'm like, wherever Timmy is, I'm here. Well, whoever told me that told me the wrong place. So I show up at that town, and as soon as I get there, I'm like, where's the hose, man? Because when you get there, they always had a sign that said Godfather's hose. And I would talk to the girls first to get them settled in before I did my shit. And I'm like, where's the hose? And they're like, Godfather, you're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not supposed to be? They're like, dude, you're supposed to be in this other town. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was too far away to make it. So I just didn't work that night. And then when Vince found out that the reason that I missed the show was because I thought Tim White was at the show, and I went there, that Godfather and Tim White didn't need to be together anymore.
Oh, no.
And Vince broke that up. And then other people started to do it. And I feel to this day, every time I see Timmy, I'm like, Timmy, I'm so sorry I fucked that up. You know, but that's a true story, man. And It was so cool. Timmy, and then it got to the point where Timmy, I was a smoker. Timmy was a drinker. And so they wanted me in he wanted to ride with me, but we lived different lives, you know.
Right.
He wanted to go to the sports pub and drink, you know, pints all night with somebody, you know. Or at that time, we were going to strip clubs and bars and country bars, and, you know, he wasn't doing that. So, but yeah, I messed that up pretty bad.
It seems like the referees just used to have so much more character back then than they do now. Like, you know, guys like El Hebner, everyone knows El Hebner, and then he'd be not afraid to get in anyone's face, even if it was Triple H.
Dave Earl, yes, him and Dave.
We all, when we were kids, we knew the name of every referee, you know?
Yeah. You don't anymore? I don't watch the show, so I don't
Neither.
know.
No. I know that you would have been on the road with Owen a lot back in the day. Do you have any favorite Owen Hart rib stories? I've heard he was an absolute god.
You know, just the same old rib stories that are out there. People always ask me, did Owen ever rib me? Because I was real good friends with Owen.
Yep.
And I always said, if he did, I didn't know about it. So it's the same old stuff. Owen was, let me tell you what Owen was. When the first time I went to Japan, I met Owen, and Owen taught me how to take the train system. He taught me how to order food. He taught me how to get to the dojo. And then when I went to Germany, Owen was there when I worked for Arnold Bonds. Owen showed me how to get to the gym. Owen showed me, how to order food. Owen showed me all that stuff. Hang on, everything's falling apart here.
It's okay.
And so he was just always a good dude, man, and just there to help. And I was really good friends with him, man. I used to pick him up when I was in Germany. Me, Scott Hall, Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, Dave Taylor, Vic Finley, Salvatore Bellomo, Rambo, Paul New, who was Cannonball Grizzly, who would be in PM News. That was the people that were there every day. But Owen was just a good dude, man. He would just make sure that you were taken care of. Just a really nice guy, hard worker, nice guy. Most people know that was against me when that happened, and we were having a match that night. And and I spent a lot of time with him that day. Just good dude, man. Just the world lost a really good person.
Yeah, man. It is heartbreaking as well looking back on it. And I don't want to go on too much about it. I love
the story did enough for that.
I love hearing sort of, stories about guys.
Just
like
a good dude. Funny. Funny guy. Good guy. Good. And if you wrestled against him, it was a night off. It was a night off. And you were going to, at the end of the night, you were going to just be like, you crazy motherfucker. I don't believe you did that out there, It was a night off. If you're wrestling Owen, it was a night off.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad that that everyone, like so many people, have so many great memories of Owen Hart, and I think it's really sweet, man. It's just it's so tragic, but we don't, everyone's spoken about it so many times, and it's kind of one of those things we don't need to go into too much. Just appreciate the happy memories of him, man. Of course, the big one, the WWE Hall of Fame. When did you find out?
I was in my truck going somewhere, and who called me? Carano. Carano called me, and I'm driving on the road. He's like, "So you all set?" Because I've been going to WrestleManias for like the last 10 years. I'm just signing autographs and doing the signings and showing up, but I've been going like every year for the last 10 years. So he's like, "Are you all set for Mark Carano's his name?" So he's like, "You're all set." I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah. I don't.
I think he's head of talent relations or something.
Yeah.
He's something like that. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So he's like, "You're all set." He goes, "Who you bringing?" I'm like, "Who am I fucking bringing?" I said, "Well, my wife and one of my kids, my youngest kid." He goes, "Well, why don't you bring your whole family?" And I'm like, where the fuck I want to bring my whole family, bro? He goes, "Because Vince decided to put you in the Hall of Fame this year."
Whoa.
And that's how I found out. And I'm like, "Oh, wow, man. You're joking, right?" I'm like, "What, did they make a special entertainment or pimp category for me and shit?" He goes, "No, it came up and Vince said, no, of course we got to put Charles in there."
Oh,
awesome.
man.
That's how it went with me,
Of course, that would mean that to me, that's probably the biggest accomplishment you can get in professional wrestling, next to winning the big one, the WWE title.
Hey, you're right.
I can imagine that it means absolutely so much to you, but I just want to know exactly sort of, being able to look back on the last 20 to 30 years, how much does being in the Hall of Fame just make everything so worth it? The traveling, the bumps, everything you've had to go through. Like, that would have been the most satisfying feeling ever.
To me, it means that, most importantly, Vince recognized your contributions to the company, both financially and historically, and everything from to this day. People asking me, "You made the Ultimate Warrior throw up." I mean, you know how many years ago that was? And people to this day are still asking me that. Be part of that, and then be part of the Nation of Domination, be part of the Growing of Rock, be part of Attitude. Every character that I had made them money. Every character that I had merchandise. The Godfather to this day is still making money as merchandise-wise for him. And they have been very good to me to this day. They keep me under contract. They keep me a little bit relevant, and they take care of me, man. And so I think that's just more about the type of person that I am. And I think with them, I consider myself a little bit of family. No matter how the business went, Vince always paid me what he said he was going to pay me. He never promised me a rose garden, you know. He could have beaten the hell out of me, because I would come and go because I wasn't happy. And I'd be like, Vince, I'm not having fun anymore. And that's why you'd see me, and he goes, I'm like, especially at Papa Shango's, that's going through a weird time with my ex-wife, and I wasn't in a good place. And I would be like, Vince, I got to go. And he'd be like, well, Charles, go home. And if you're ready to come back, give us a call. And then I'd come back, and then Taker would call me and say, hey, you want to do this ultimate fighting thing? And I'm like, not really. And they're like, well, you can ride a Harley. And I'm like, I can ride a Harley? I'm like, oh, hell, I'll do that. That's how I came back as calmer. And then that didn't really work. So I'm like, Vince, I'm not having fun. I'm going home. So I went home again. And then they called me and said, we want to bring back Papa Shango. And I'm like, oh, we're going to do this and this and that and that and this. So we get the outfit, we get everything done, right? And I show up at TV with all my Papa Shango shit. And Vince goes, or somebody says, hey, Vince wants to see you. I'm like, cool. So I go there, what's up, Vince? Da, 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 da. He goes, Charles, change your plan. He goes, we're going to put you in the group, the Nation of Domination tonight. You and Ron Simmons are going to have a handicap match against The Undertaker, and you're going to go over. And I'm like, what? And that's how I got in the Nation of Domination. And the reason they did that, because that's the same night that they had Kane. I don't know if they started Kane, or he would just came in that night, or he just started. But they didn't want two mysterious characters like that, where they were turning the light. They didn't want two of them.
Makes sense.
And so they said, no Godfather. And so they put me in the Nation. And that's how I got in the Nation.
And of course, looking back on
and
it,
then they gave me some gear to wear and stuff. Yeah, I swear to God. That's how I got in the Nation.
And what an awesome stable that it ended up turning out to be, right? Like,
oh, man.
So awesome. And
those guys, I'm in contact with every one of them. I mean, not Ahmed Johnson, but and not Rock. But I talked to D'Lo, I talked to Mark Henry, I talked to Ron Simmons all the time. You know? So it's pretty cool.
That's such an awesome group of guys as well, man. Like, you wouldn't want to be on the other end of them. Let's say that. We wanted to finish off this interview with just a couple segments Carl's going to run. One of them is we'll just start with the fact or fiction. Carl, if you want to take it from there.
Yeah, Charles, this is called fact or fiction. There's only 4 things that I was able to find that I wasn't sure whether it was really true or not. So I thought I'd, get confirmation from you whether or not these are true. Is it true that there was a story once where you were performing in the ring and you had hoes at ringside that didn't quite understand what they were supposed to do, and they started kind of making out and touching each other up, and you
true
yeah
bunch of times bunch of times.
Awesome.
Because you know what, I would tell the girls, because it would be like you would meet the girls usually an hour or two before the show or you went on, and so I would tell the girls, bring alcohol, bring drinks, get drunk, get lit. And so a lot of times, they're strippers. They were all strippers. So come on, strippers. And what was that drug called? Not Molly, something that made you feel really good.
MD
That made you want to have sex and shit. I forgot what that drug was. Nah, what was it called? Anyway, they would be all touchy-feely. They'd get out there and they'd start, oh, yeah, true. And I would go like this. Like I was filming it with the camera going like that. Dude, okay, true.
Okay. The next one is it true that there was a possibility that you were going to end up being the enforcer of the NWO, but Virgil contacted WCW and said to them that he'll do that role at a cheaper price, so you never got brought in?
I would say that they called Virgil to see if he'd do it for a cheaper price. True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just ended up not getting a call back from WCW.
I thought I was dialed in on the price and everything, and then I was waiting for them to call me. and nobody. And I'm calling this. I'm not going to say names, but I'm calling this one and this one and that one, and nobody's returning my calls. And all of a sudden, I put on the show, and I see Virgil come out as the bodyguard. So that's how I found out. But it was great because I became the Godfather.
Yeah, exactly. Is it true that you used to get the hoes that would come in to do the role? You get them to get their boyfriends to get you some weed.
True.
And the last one I had, is it true that you blazed up with Ice-T after WrestleMania 2000?
False.
Oh,
Damn it. Damn it.
that would have made this awesome story.
Okay, yes, it's called 5 Second Frenzy. You've got 5 seconds to answer the question. It's not too much pressure though, but they're just ones just to learn a little bit about things that you like. First of all, who's your favorite musical artist?
Tupac.
What is your favorite alcoholic drink?
Jack Daniels.
What is your favorite curse word?
Motherfucker.
What is your favorite female body part?
I'm a titty man. I wish I could get my wife in this picture. I'm a titty man.
What is your favorite TV show?
Right now it would be Street Outlaws. It's a show about people racing cars.
Nice. What is your favorite type of cannabis?
Would be a sativa and possibly an OG Kush, but definitely a sativa, not an indica. Definitely a sativa.
Nice. Well, that was just a few questions there, just to finish things off.
I didn't need the 5 seconds. What's up, man? You guys?
You were perfect. You did a great job.
I didn't even count the 5 seconds, man. So don't even worry.
No, you didn't need it.
And even if he exceeded the 5 seconds, there's nothing I can do about it. So,
Thank you very much for your time this evening.
You're welcome, man.
Okay. I'll keep you in touch. I'll keep you in the loop with the links. I'll plug all your social media, Instagram, and let's get you a few more followers.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Really appreciate the time.
Peace, guys.
thanks, Charles.
Thanks, man.